I started living from the end and I manifested everything that I desired on my vision boards. And it started to happen really, really fast. So I created this vision board that I desired to attract within this year. And things started popping off super, super quickly. Like dream trips, moved to Bali, more travel, moving home, then the dream proposal from the love of my life. All of these things started to become my reality because I started to apply this one principle into the manifestation process. And it was so simple. It was just this aha moment. And I can't wait to chat about this today with you in this video of how you can also start to live from the end and apply that to your own manifestation journey so that you can experience that popping off of your manifestations into the 3D reality. So I want to talk a little bit about, what is living from the end? Because if you've clicked on this video and you're just like, okay, cool, that's amazing, but what does that actually even mean? It sounds so morbid in a way. I remember when I first heard this concept of living from the end, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I have to live from, my deathbed essentially. Like, what would I be thinking when I'm at that stage? Like, maybe it means that I just need to live life to the fullest and just go for it and go all in. And absolutely, like, we of course want to go all in, and we want to, have that perspective of, have I lived my life to the fullest? Have I experienced life to the fullest? Do I regret anything? All of those things. But that isn't actually what I mean by living from the end. So Neville Goddard spoke about this beautifully, and essentially living from the end is a principle from Neville Goddard, but it has also been filtrated through the manifestation process way back when we're talking about the law of attraction. Because to become aligned with receiving your desires, so you are just so magnetic to your desires that they are just popping up, popping off. They just are. They just come in. You cannot keep them away. That's essentially the law of attraction. We have to first become that vibrational match with our desired reality. So if you think about your desires, we all have an end. There's always a vision, a life script, a vision board, and we cannot see past that end for us, right? We cannot think bigger than that. We can't expand further than that because that's what we see our vision as. So for me, for an example, this year is just like, okay, I wanted to go on 3 really beautiful overseas extended trips. I wanted to work overseas. I wanted to go on a private boat and be proposed to from the love of my life. So that was my vision. That was my end, right? That is what I desired to create for this year. And I know that you have one. I know that you have a juicy vision, and your end is going to look different to someone else's. That's why it's so beautiful, because we all have different desires. And that's why they are truly meant for you. Your desires are truly meant for you because there's already a version of you in the quantum realm who is living in the end, who is living in that desired reality, right? That's why we all have different desires, because there's all different versions of us in the quantum realm. And your soul is pulling you because you're meant to experience that. You're meant to live that into the 3D and create that. Because the beautiful thing about, going after and creating our end, our vision, our life script, and bringing that into the 3D is the journey of who we become in that process, the remembering of who we truly are, because it's not actually becoming anyone else, it's actually remembering who you truly are. And also deconditioning from all of the things that you have been told that you should be in this lifetime. So it's a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing, because let's just talk about it from the perspective of, say, money is something that you would love to call more of in your 3D experience. And if you think about it, the version of you who is living in the end, the version of you who already has the money that you desire, feels pretty abundant, right? Feels pretty like free. There's freedom, there's abundance, there's plenty, there's more. There's a sense of plenty internally, right? There's a sense of plenty. And that feeling, that vibration, and the whole premise of living from the end is saying, how can we start to embody that now? How can we start to embody the vibration, the feeling, the emotions, the beliefs that version of us is already experiencing? So back to the example of money, if the version of you who you are currently are right now is thinking and feeling in lack and limitation of there's never enough to go around, prices of living are going up, I can't afford that, how could anyone afford that, blah, 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 right? And there's no, I really, really want to say this as well, is like there's no shame about this, and I'm not here to blame and shame anyone. It's beautiful because you can have that awareness of who you are currently being right now, and who you are currently being right now has created the life that you are currently experiencing, right? So in order to create something different, then we have to live from the end. We have to become that vibrational match with the version of us who already has what we desire. So going back to that version of lack and limitation, I had to have this awareness around who I was being when I set the intention of, I wanted to have, 3 extended overseas trips, and I wanted to have, that requires money. That requires me to, attract a certain level of wealth into my life that I needed to be able to, for one, work for myself, and to be able to travel for extended periods of time and have that time freedom. Then I had to match that vibration. So I had to look at who I was being, right? And you have to look at who you are being. And if it is lack and limitation, or there's fear around, spending money, fear and scarcity and lack around, oh my goodness, can I even afford this? I'm losing money. Like that internal fear around spending money. And that internal fear, if you think about, walking around the shops, it's like, do you buy the things that are on sale because you're just like, oh, I don't want to spend, that extra $2 because I don't have it? Can you see that there is a separation between where you are and where you desire to be? So when you can actually start to rewire from that fear, rewire from the lack and the limitation, and start to see abundance in your external reality. And I'm not saying that you have to attract the money to see abundance right now. you can see abundance in so many different forms. You can see abundance with, I'm looking out the window right now, the leaves on the tree, the people walking down the street, the sun in the sky. You know, there's so much abundance right out there. The food in your fridge, right? If you were looking at it from the perspective of, oh my goodness, there's so much abundance around me right now, rather than, oh my goodness, my fridge is just never full, there's never enough, oh, I wish I had more money to buy this, I don't like my car is like not great, there's never enough. Can you see the perspective shift of having an awareness around, wow, okay, I am noticing all of the lack and limitation in my life right now. That's not a vibrational match with the version of me who is living in the end. And then when you actually start to shift that into, wow, every time you go and buy something, thank you so much for the money to buy this. Thank you for the money to pay my bills. Thank you for the money for this electricity that I get to experience. You know, the aircon, it is really hot here in Australia at the moment. Well, it's getting hotter and hotter. And I'm grateful to have the aircon. Absolutely. So it's these simple shifts. You walk around the shops, and instead of buying the thing on sale that you don't actually want, you spend the extra $2 on the thing that you actually do desire. And I'm not saying from the perspective of spending as if you were living on the end. It's the energy that you are doing things in. So you might even walk around with $100 note in your wallet, and you might energetically spend that $100 as you go through the shops, being like, yeah, I could afford that. I'm choosing not to, but I could afford that. I could afford that. I could afford that. I'm going to buy that. I'm going to buy that, with like energetically not actually spending the money, right? And that $100 may not seem like a lot when it's $100, but then when you're spending it 1,000 times or 100 times or 50 times, that's a lot of money. And you are energetically calibrating to that version of you who already has the money to do the things that you want to do in your vision board. And as you start to do that, as you start to calibrate to this version of you who is living in the end, that is the premise of living in the end. As I started to do this, and in all areas as well, and all of the vibrations, I'm just specifically talking about money right now and the vibration of abundance, but in all aspects and all of the beliefs and how I viewed the world and what my thoughts was thinking, as I started to shift that to match the version of me who was living in this desired reality, that's when things started popping off. Literally weeks later, we were in Japan skiing. We literally booked it just a few weeks before we left. Like, things were popping off. When I got back, my intuition said, go to Bali. I went to Bali for 6 weeks. Came back, went to Europe, moved house. Things started happening. All because I matched the frequency. I became the version. I started living in the end. And I want this for you as well. It is so possible for you, for anyone, to align to that version of you. That is how you condense time between asking for what you want and receiving it. Like, we could sit here and say, wow, okay, we've only got a couple of months left, almost 3 months left of the year. That's not a long time to attract what it is that you desire. Or we could sit here and say, time is an illusion. What if time was an illusion? What if you could actually attract everything that you desire before the end of the year? What if you could attract everything that you desire by the end of this month? We play so small because of our beliefs, our conditioning, our vibration that is aligned to what you are experiencing now. And any single moment you can shift that and change that and quantum leap into a whole new timeline. Any single moment. Like, this is the power. And I know I could talk about this all day, but I want to keep this video short and concise, and you can start embodying this principle right now. But if you want to go deeper with me, if you want to take this to the next level, to the depth that will really, really start to shift things in your external reality like that, then I'm holding 4 free days, like completely free, which is starting on the 16th. So depending when you're watching this, 16th is live, otherwise you'll be able to catch the recordings. I'm going to pop them up on YouTube as well, where you can go deep. We are going so deep into how you can actually align to this new timeline so that things can really start to pop off in your reality. And oh my goodness, like, if you only knew the power that you had. And that's why I want to remind you, and that's why I'm creating this space. So if you feel called to join us, then the link for that will be in the description. But I'm sending you all so much love. There is so much that is coming your way. I can feel it. I can honestly feel it. So enjoy the rest of your morning, your day, or your evening, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.